Right now, the Strait of Hormuz is the most watched body of water on the planet. US and Iranian negotiators have drafted a massive ceasefire, but the core question is whether this provides a genuine path to peace or a tactical pause before a wider conflict. For weeks, the region has operated as a total powder keg, with naval blockades and missile strikes threatening global trade. To hit the brakes, negotiators from both sides have officially reached a 60-day memorandum of understanding to halt hostilities. But there is a hard line built into this pause. Senior administration officials are calling it a no-dust, no-deal policy. The entire negotiation hinges on what happens to Iran's massive stockpile of enriched uranium. This fragile 2-month window is entirely dependent on meeting these strict nuclear demands. As of right now, the drafted agreement is sitting on a desk, awaiting President Trump's final signature. This memorandum establishes a high-stakes 60-day ticking clock. If those baseline nuclear demands aren't addressed before the time runs out, the entire agreement collapses. To understand why Iran is agreeing to pause hostilities right now, you have to look at their balance sheet. A relentless US naval blockade is suffocating their primary ports. They are unable to move cargo, and their economy is bleeding out under the pressure. The Iranian government reopened the country's internet a few days ago out of pure financial desperation. It was a frantic attempt to move business online and salvage whatever digital commerce they could. Meanwhile, the US is facing its own domestic economic reality. Inflation data just came out, hovering at an uncomfortable 3.2 to 3.3%. Everyday consumers are feeling the pinch, and high energy costs remain a major threat heading into the summer months. This map of the Strait of Hormuz reveals its geographical leverage. It's a bottleneck for global oil trade, heavily dictating energy prices. Restoring free passage changes the math. Combined with UAE leaving OPEC, opening it floods the market, lowering gas prices for Americans. Ultimately, this temporary ceasefire is driven by mutual financial pain. Both nations are sitting at the table because they desperately need the economic relief that can only happen if those shipping lanes remain open. Yet, even as the diplomats finalize their paperwork, the reality on the ground remains incredibly volatile. Just recently, Kuwait had to intercept an Iranian missile that was specifically aimed at a US military base. Despite attempting strikes like these, Iran operates at a severe tactical disadvantage. They lack a traditional air force. Instead, they rely almost entirely on an asymmetric fleet of small, deployable drones for their aerial attacks. Because the military standoff is operating on a hair trigger, this 60-day window is incredibly fragile. A single rogue projectile could completely derail the negotiations before anyone sees a dime of economic relief. If those strict nuclear terms are actually met, the economic prize waiting at the end of these 60 days is immense. Once global shipping is fully restored, coastal refineries and ports will spring back to maximum capacity. But the president is pushing for an even broader geopolitical condition. He is demanding that Saudi Arabia and other Gulf states join the Abraham Accords, locking in a formalized regional alliance framework that would isolate hostile actors. This reveals a stark power imbalance. The Iranian government faces deep internal unrest and economic ruin. The US holds the heavy leverage, but urgently needs a stable energy market to keep domestic prices in check. This leverage equation has forced both adversaries into a corner. Compromising on that final nuclear hurdle is the only viable option left to avert mutual catastrophe and permanently shift the balance of power in the Middle East. Will the final deal be signed, or are we watching the calm before a devastating war? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and hit the like and subscribe buttons for more updates from USA Live News.